This is a HeadGum podcast.
Guys, we get to talk about our favorite. Oh, can we say favorite sponsor?
Yes, we can. Let's say a sponsor we love.
Let's say a sponsor that we love.
That's been with us since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
When we were just a young podcast learning.
Why are you looking in the sky?
Yeah, why?
I'm remembering the time.
What?
I'm setting up the story.
You don't have to remember
have to
by
look-
like looking
Look up.
When we were just a young.
Why
Why are you holding your hand
holding your hand up?
I'm
like
trying
that?
to say how Squarespace was with us when we were just a crawling.
What the-
Now both of your hands are up.
We were crawling, trying to figure out how do we stand in this wide, big old world of podcasts.
We're talking about Squarespace.
Squarespace.
Squarespace was there with us. you know?
Squarespace.com.
Yes.
Do you need a website? Of course you do. Why would you ask such a dumb question?
Yeah, man, you gotta have a website.
You gotta
Honestly,
have a website.
you have to have a website.
Guys, we live in a day and age where everybody needs a website.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Man, you don't want to like pay for some like designer to design your website because then and then they have to update it for you.
Yeah, like
you know?
they have all the control and you don't want
the power
know
of
what's
your
going on.
website.
It's your website.
But if you sign up with Squarespace, man, that stuff has intuitive tools. Easy
Yes,
to use.
Easy to use.
Wow.
Very, very nice designs. if I
And
can
it
say
looks
so myself.
beautiful.
It looks really
beautiful.
good.
Honestly,
It looks great. It looks professionally done.
It looks like
But
a
you can do it
professional
yourself,
but
though.
you did that.
You did it.
You did it.
You got the power.
Because of Squarespace.
Squarespace gave you the power to control your own online presence.
You got the power.
Woo!
Bam,
Squarespace, you paying for that song for us to sing that.
So,
you know, I'm paying for that.
listen. It's trusted by millions of people, some of the most respected brands in the world. We know this, okay? What you need to do
Tell them.
is sign up for Squarespace because it starts at $8 a month.
Oh,
$8
snap.
a month. And what about that domain, though?
It's free when you sign up for a year.
When you sign up
no.
for a year, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
And if you start your free trial site today with no credit card required,
Good, I ain't got one.
if you sign up, use the offer code JUMP.
Hold on, wait. Why should they use the offer code
Yeah,
jump?
They get 10% off their first purchase.
What?
What?
J-U-M-P.
So they get a discount and they help us out?
Both.
And you know what? It's almost Black History Month, so you know what?
What's that?
Y'all should do this for the people.
Yeah. Get you that
What?
10%
Us,
off.
we the people.
Oh,
Get
we're
you
the
that-
people.
We the people. They should help us out.
Got it.
For
Get you
Black
that
History
discount
Month.
for Black History Month.
Sign up right now, today, for squarespace.com. Use the offer code JUMP. Sign up
Jump.
for a year. Get a free
You get a free domain.
domain.
Who doesn't like free
domain.
stuff?
Oh, man, I love me some
When people
free
give me free stuff, I'm like, yes, please. You know what I'm talking about?
There it is.
Squarespace. Build,
Build
it
it
beautiful.
beautiful.
Gerard doesn't know.
I mess it up every time.
Jonathan Braylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say? You know what it is.
Black men can jump.
In Hollywood. Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Welcome
all
to
right,
Black
all
Men
right,
Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
Welcome.
Thank you, James.
Okay. That's all you had to add to that?
Yes, this is a very special Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Why is that?
Why is it so special?
Because today we're talking about the film Beasts of No Nation.
Are you going to be so serious this whole...
James III is correct, actually.
Yes.
My
you
name is
doing it
Jonathan Braylock, and we're here to talk about Beasts of No Nation, starring Abraham Attab and supporting actor Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, yes.
Wait, are we being serious on this? Are we doing the podcast serious?
Our colleague Jerah Milligan seems to be a little bit confused.
Yes, it's almost as if you would think he doesn't even understand the film, the weight of the film in which we're reviewing today.
Hey,
Indeed
man.
it is.
Hey, man, what?
Beasts of No Nation, of course, was directed by
Are y'all still doing this?
Kari Joji Fukunaga,
Yes, very talented writer-director, right?
writer and director.
He adapted the
novel.
The novel, yes.
Hey, man, I'm not trying to do this, and I started, and then y'all stop. All right?
Jerah, we don't know what you're talking
I
about.
don't know what.
Hey,
what
if y'all, seriously, if I started and y'all stop, I'm going to be real pissed.
Okay. Well, anyway, listen, this drama is based off the experience of Agu, He is a child soldier fighting in a civil war of an unnamed African country.
Unnamed, yes.
I know y'all gonna do it. I know y'all gonna start. Y'all gonna stop doing it the moment I start talking like that. I know it.
The film was very well received by critics.
Yes, as it should have been. I
Of course, it's a Netflix. It's Netflix's
Netflix
first,
their first
original film.
And you know what? Bravo, Netflix.
Yeah, it's a really good it's a really good Netflix film, man. Like I was like, hey, people should. What? Why y'all looking at me like that?
Now, the one thing that we do have to mention is that the Academy did not deem this film fit to be nominated for any category.
Yes, no,
Yeah, man,
was
it's pissed
not-
me off,
It
too.
did not show up in any of the categories, which is very disappointing.
And it's like, why would they do that? You know, y'all not even gonna acknowledge that I'm talking for real.
So perhaps we, of course, the film didn't necessarily make that much money.
No,
because it was released simultaneously in theaters and on Netflix at the same time. Nobody really saw it in theaters; they saw it on Netflix.
No,
because come on, everybody has a Netflix.
I didn't
subscription.
know that there was. I didn't know that there was a joint.
Well, yeah, a lot of
release.
people didn't know because, like, why would you pay because it's on Netflix? Because clearly, you know, I have a Netflix password and I don't even pay for Netflix. Yeah, I know. yeah. Okay. All right.
So would we like to talk about first thoughts?
Well, yes. First
Perhaps
thoughts.
Jerah Milligan would like to say his thoughts first in a voice that he would seem appropriate for
Maybe appropriate
the film
voice for
and
the film and-
this podcast and how it's going right now.
I'm serious. Yo, are we committing to this? Okay. All right. I'm Braylock. I swear to goodness, yo.
I don't know what's happening.
All right. So I feel like watching this movie, I thought it was this is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking. Are you serious? What are we doing?
Oh man!
Are we,
This film is what I'm talking
Ain't gonna make fun of me. Y'all making fun of me.
I'm trying to be really serious.
Serious movie.
Y'all started it.
Like a right person.
I was trying to.
Guys, the reason we're trying to have so much fun is because this is the most depressing film of all time.
Oh my goodness!
It's a downer. This movie is a straight up
And it's
downer.
Literally every bad thing in the world happens
in this movie.
Rape, child murder, parent murder.
And the thing is, it starts off. It's about 12 minutes where nothing bad happens, but you know, you're just waiting. When is it going to get bad? He's with his family. When is it about to get rough? Oh, his mom is gone. He's with his dad.
It starts happier.
So happy.
It's than like any movie I've ever seen.
He's like a kid having fun. Imagination TV with his friends.
TV.
Oh, man,
so many
beautiful.
bright colors.
And it goes south real quick.
Really quick.
Real quick. So,
So, I mean, you want to talk about your first thoughts?
yeah, I'd say mine. My first thought was screw John Braylock for suggesting. Literally watching this movie, I had a text message in my phone I never sent. John, I hate you for making me watch that.
Fan suggested it, and I was like, "This is a good idea."
No, it is a very good movie. The thing is this is one of those movies that is just so tough. So like watching this movie, the young man playing Agu, what is the gentleman's name?
Abraham.
Abraham.
I believe
Abraham.
it's Atta.
Or
Atta.
Atta.
It's spelled Attah.
Well, Abraham did a great job. Like
phenomenal.
the thing
Oh
is so
my God.
interesting is that it's funny because
I don't know if this film's funny, but yeah.
when I think about the nominations,
More humor in
No,
it.
actually,
though.
there is.
yeah, it
humor
is.
in it.
When I
Sorry,
think about the
continue.
nominations, we see so much of the story through this young guy's eyes, and it's not, and it's not through words. It's just his performance. You see at one point when he's scared and he comes upon like Idris's like army. You see him go from being scared to seeing Idris, this very charismatic like figure, and you see him change from being a child into a child soldier at this point. You see the change, and you can see it in his face. He goes from saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, and he's saying it so much, you see the transformation starting to happen. And there's another part, not to jump across, but I just want to talk about this kid's performance. It's like you see him seeing like another new recruit later on in the film, and you see he just starts to laugh stuff off. He starts to see people like the kid saying, yes, sir, yes, sir. He's laughing at it. You see like his other soldier shoot like a man, and he just looks at it, smiles, and goes back to laughing at this other kid.
It's right next to each other.
I remember thinking, just to sum it up, I remember thinking this movie is powerful. That's the only thing I can think of to describe. It's powerful. It's shot very well. The performances are great. It's just powerful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, watching this movie, and look, I'm guilty of probably what the entire Academy did, which was not watch the film because they didn't want to. I didn't necessarily want to watch it. This movie, I remember when I saw the posters, I was like, oh man, this movie looks like it's going to be intense, but like really good. In the trailer for it, I was like, yeah, this movie looks like it's going to be really good, but I let it sit for a long time because I was like, man, that movie, I don't know if I can like take it right now. That being said, like we were kind of saying, in a hot news earlier, like, look, this is a film that's just like all of those war films. You know what I mean? You have Apocalypse Now. What are all those war? Like
you have
Saving
Apocalypse
Private
Now,
Ryan, like
so
Schindler's
many.
List, like all the World War II films. Like all of those films where like horrible stuff happens and you're just watching it. And what's the Stanley Kubrick one? Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket, crazy.
So this film easily sits in the midst of all these other films. Like, but it was just like it was hard because I watched this after the nominations came out, knowing it didn't get nominated for anything. And it's not just the acting that's great. Like Abraham Attah alone deserves a Best Actor nod.
For sure.
As well as Idris Elba. Like the SAG nomination was totally deserved for the cast.
Yeah.
Because the entire cast is great. And here's the thing, and it's very unfortunate, but it's like I can see people not knowing how to distinguish people just because we're not used to seeing that many black bodies, that many black characters on screen at the same time. And the film is like purposely not trying to differentiate between them. And it's like, no. In war movies, you guys don't differentiate between them, and you respect all of the actors that are in like Saving Private Ryan or whatever. You know what I mean? Like everybody who look the same to other people. So why are we going to differentiate in this film? No, but the cinematography was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Dude.
The editing was great. The sound was great. Like the way that this movie was like the colors.
The colors.
Oh my God, stands out
the
so
lighting,
much. The direction was
great.
amazing. Especially the performances. So I was just like, I was basically watching this film being like, this is great, and I don't know. I'm so confused as to like why it's not getting more
Same here.
attention. I'm really baffled. I guess that's what we're going to try to unpack maybe a little bit. But anyway, that was my initial thought.
Yeah. Similarly, I also did not watch it before. Now this is my first time seeing it, and felt like as I was going through, I was like, this is not my cup of tea. I do not watch. I've seen a handful of the war movies that you guys just mentioned. I don't like seeing people shoot at each other and kill each other in blood.
Do you ever see Hotel Rwanda?
No, I've never seen
really?
Hotel Rwanda.
You seen City of God?
I bought it.
Even though City of God is not a war movie, but
City of God. Which one? Wait, which one is that?
that's when they're like in is that Brazil? Brazil, and it's basically like kind of never mind.
Probably haven't seen it. But my whole life I've always avoided these types of movies. I do not like seeing guns firing and blood. The Pianist? No, it was working. I was working at a movie theater when that movie came out. I didn't go see. Anyway,
You've seen Saving Private Ryan.
That's probably one of the ones that we've mentioned that I have seen. But anyway, I don't like.
You don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like seeing people die. I don't like blood. So like I'm watching this and thinking about all those movies that I know have been nominated and like and wondering throughout like why not this. Abraham Attah is amazing. Idris Elba is amazing. Thinking about like just the way that he's able to play this like callous, commander character. It's so interesting.
So many layers to it too.
Yeah, and he loves the kid. Like
he loves that.
Agu, he loves. I mean,
but
he does
in a twisted way.
And I thought it was super well written. I thought the writing was amazing. I thought that the storytelling was amazing. I loved the story being told partly through narration because like you could see, and I think this is hard to do, but you can see the boy experiencing what's being narrated. Yep. Like, and you see him communicating all of these things like through without words, and at the end, especially when he says when he sort of says the namesake, when he says you're gonna look at me like a beast, I was like,
oh, that line,
I would have been in tears if I
what is it? I want to be happy here. But what does he say?
He says, I want. He says something like, I have happiness here. I want to be happy here. If I tell you my story, I'll be sad. I only want to be happy.
And you will look at me.
I've done terrible things. I've seen terrible things. I've done terrible things. Yeah, and
You will look at me like a beast.
It's so touching, and
that's what happens to kids, man.
yeah,
That's a thing.
yeah.
Oh, it's happening literally right now.
Right now, that's happening.
And what I love about the way that this movie tells the story is, it's not like woe is me, I'm a child. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And
It's also not like, it also doesn't point, like, Hotel Rwanda a little bit kind of like made it feel like these were the bad people.
Yeah.
And then these were like the innocent people.
right.
This movie very much so muddies it in the way that it really is muddied in real life, where you're just like, I literally, like, it took me a second, and it doesn't like spoon feed you anything. You kind of just have to like figure stuff out and watch it. But like, it took me a second to realize like all the different parties that were at play, because essentially there's like, you have UN soldiers, and then you have like Nigerian soldiers, and then you have like the
militia.
the army of the government of whatever country they're in. So, something like the Congo or whatever. And then you have the rebels.
Right.
So there's all these different, and then you have innocent people or villagers
That
you
are
know what I
just
mean?
there, yeah.
That are just there. And then like all these people are getting slaughtered. You're like, no one feels like they're the good people or the
who's
bad
bad?
people. Like, everybody who's dying, it doesn't feel like they deserve it. Like even the people who are killing other people, it's just like death. It's just like, but it's also just it's just like this is the
This is
world that
what
they live.
it is.
You know what I mean?
The first kid we see with a gun, it's just like in passing. Like we don't even. It's not like, look at this child holding a machine gun. It's like, no, that's just.
If you think about
that's
it,
what that army is.
think about Idris's commandant. His first speech. It's like when he first sees Agu, he's like, "What happened to you?" He tells him, "The army."
And
like
it's true. That's
the
what happened.
army killed his family.
The army killed his family.
And he's like, he tells him that, and then Idris's speech is like, the people who have had the army kill your family before your eyes. Who wants revenge? That's what he says to him.
Yeah.
He's like, do you want revenge?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, I do. Do you want revenge? And it's crazy because I have no clue who was good or bad. And then Idris's boss later on in the movie is like, now this has become a war of what word is it? Politics. And no, but it's even more. It's more different of appearances, images, and appearances. And it's like, wait, what is happening?
Anyway, so I mean, how do we?
I don't know.
How do we dive in? Is the real question to ask?
Okay, let's ask, because the thing is, it's a couple things that happen. Do we talk about the movie, or do we talk about the outcome that the movie did not get nominated? Like, there's so much. Like, it didn't get nominated for anything.
Well, let's say this. Like, I'll say this. I'll start with this. One of the things that I loved about this movie that was so striking to me was honestly the fact that like the entire cast was black. There were literally 2 actors who were not black, or 3, and it was this Asian man who sat there. And he for a second, I don't think he said anything other than maybe like hello, or I think he maybe just getting a head nod, walked off. This is when he's waiting. Idris Elba's waiting.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So there's an Asian man there, and then there is another Asian man who comes and sits down.
Yep.
And then there's I believe a white man who came and he starts talking to for a second.
Okay,
None of those people have lines.
Right, and there's also the truck that passes, the UN truck.
Oh, and then there's a UN truck, and there's
handful of white people
there's some
in
white
there.
people inside who are looking and taking pictures. Those are the only time you see faces other than dark black faces.
people.
Yeah, and so while I was watching the movie, I'm going, all right, this is amazing, right? What's the casting process for something like this like, right? 'Cause
So
it's not like you don't.
This is a good question, and the thing is though they cast the they actually cast a lot of people who here. Let me read this here. Sorry, I'm just pulling it up on.
Agu and Striker.
They had to cast extras out of the locals during film because some of the actors were arrested on suspicion of being mercenaries.
Wow.
They filmed this in Ghana.
And for what do you know anything about
it? Could have been just like in the
saying-
movie, because think about it, in the movie.
It's because the paperwork is not in Africa. Is like in a lot of African countries, like there's so much suspicion. There's so many of these like rebel armies, and they all have their own like they're splintered, like we see in the film. Like Idris Elba's a
faction.
Faction is essentially splintered because he disagrees with his supreme commander. You know what I mean? So like it's just like the organization just starts to crumble, and people are so scared and suspicious. There's all these like
Think about the scene where Agu loses his dad.
Yeah.
Like it's literally because it's literally the crazy woman who she literally said,
do you know these people?
And she said, like, I curse you and your family early on in the movie. Of course it's going to be this woman who has to like either save or condemn them. And it's like, do you know these people?
Yeah.
She says no. And he just slaughter them. And this is the army that just slaughters them. There's trust nowhere. I mean, this movie was tough to watch, mainly for me because this is a thing that we read about. This is a thing that happens. And this is a thing we only know one side of the story, to be honest. I mean, we really don't know what happens here.
Right. I mean, we watch this story and we go, and the lines are blurred. And so it's like we cannot pass judgment, to say, I mean, this is like thinking about politics, right? Like, so there are so many different hands in the pot, but it is a blurred kind of thing.
There's and the reality is, at the base, I believe at the base of all of this is need. It's poverty and need. Like, these people don't have food, they don't have clean water, they don't have a government that is functioning well enough to give the citizens what they need. And so that turns people into soldiers. Like, so Cary Fukunaga, who was the director and screenwriter, he said that he cast real former child soldiers and members of the various factions from the Sierra Leone and Liberian Civil War, such as the Liberian Armed Forces, the LURD, the CDF, as extras and consultants. But they ran into difficulty getting everyone onto set because they were held up in the Ivory Coast as suspected mercenaries.
Yeah.
So, like they cast some real people, and obviously
the feat of that, right? Like
exactly.
to go to all these different places and find the people that you know are going to tell this story as truthfully and as accurately as possible, and bringing together all of these different voices and all these different experiences, and then to have like Idris Elba there, plopped in the middle of this, right? Like there's a part for me that is really powerful for me as an actor to watch.
Yep.
When Idris is first given. When he first sort of really appears and he's like giving his big speech.
What is this? What is this?
But it's like
he calls him this,
and he's surrounded by Africans, right?
Right. Yeah.
And he's like he has his accent and he's doing, and it's like the fact that everyone is there to do this. There's this outsider there who is affecting something. But is powerfully portraying this role.
It's great. And the thing is, just to piggyback on what you're saying, like the director Cary Fukunaga, which for those at home is the director of the first season of True Detective, which is the season that everyone loves. He directed every episode of the first season. He directed this on a budget of $6 million. $6 million is all he had to make this movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
$6 million. And the thing about this is that, like you're saying, James, he went into this territory.
$6 million?
$6 million. That's
this
it.
film looks incredible. This film was made for $6 million.
$6 million. And here's the thing. There are certain shots. Do you guys remember when the screen...
goodness.
I don't even remember why it happened, but like there's a shot when they're like invading one of the towns, and it's like white and red or something.
Yeah, the colors change.
The colors change.
Yeah.
And it's like... the direction, the thing is, the cinematography of this movie is so great, and it's funny because at no point was Cary Fukunaga ever in consideration
No.
about being best director. And watching this movie, I'm just confused on how was he not?
He colored well, according to IMDb, if this is true, he colored the film personally.
What?
Stop it.
And it said that scene in which the colors changed from green to red was based on the look of infrared film. Everything had such significant meaning.
So this is a man who literally he reads a book and he goes, I have to make this into a movie. So then he adapts the screenplay himself.
Correct.
Then they do this,
probably shops it around to a bunch of studios and nobody wants it.
And so then they get to Idris Elba is on board. They're casting these people who are actually former child
because Netflix
soldiers.
takes the chance.
He has $6 million. It looks as incredibly as it does, and he also is he does the coloring of it himself.
Listen to the research he did, James. Took him 7 years to write the script. 6 years he spent researching it. 6 years. So the amount of things he went through, and it took him over a year to cast it. This was a straight passion project, and he probably would never have got the chance to do this if True Detective wouldn't have hit as hard as it did.
Right. And if Netflix wasn't
we'd try.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, and I mean, this bleeds into the whole snub thing, which I think it just keeps coming back because Captain Phillips, right? That movie was nominated for Best Picture. I forgot if Tom Hanks was nominated.
Tom Hanks was nominated, and so was was Tom Hanks nominated? I know the supporting actor was.
Supporting actor was. Yeah. It was nominated for 6 awards, I think. Now. That they did the same thing where they cast I think they did the casting in America, but they cast people who were actually Somalian.
He was Somalian.
Of Somalian descent. But my whole thing with that is again, Captain Phillips is what? The story of who? Captain Phillips, the white person in the story, right? So it's still this white lead, and that film gets recognized for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Now, this film, there is a child who's the lead, black child, and everybody else in the cast is also African. White people do not play a part in this film at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Hold on.
They're in the background for a split second. This film is about the people living in this country, of this no-named country. And to me, it's that says so much.
Can I ask you a question, though? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
2002's Beast of the Southern Wild, right? All right. So this movie, 2000 was it 13? It came out.
There's no way that.
Sorry. I meant 2012. It came out 2012.
Okay.
My fault. Quizney, the lead actress, right?
Yes.
What she was nominated.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So my thing is,
and that film was probably nominated for Best
Picture. It
was.
Now, that film had, I believe, a white director, right? Now,
yes,
I'm going to ask, because that film had a white director, does that make it more award-worthy than Beast? Because my thing is, what's the bare bones?
Right.
What makes her performance and Abraham's both were great.
White director and white screenwriters.
White screenwriters. Both, one was nominated for an Oscar, one wasn't. And is it really only Netflix that's standing this apart? Is it the weirdness of Netflix that's doing this?
I mean,
right. So just so people know, Carrie, the director of Beast of No Nation, the Netflix film, is half Japanese and half Caucasian.
I thought he was. I thought he was Native American too. Isn't he Native American?
I don't know, maybe, but I
see what you're saying.
Probably a little, very little.
Yeah,
his father is Japanese. That's why he has a Japanese last name.
I'm not sure. I think that there's a lot of things that sort of stand in the way of this movie, and it could be those things, right? That's one, but I don't know who were the director and writers of Beasts of the Southern Wild, and are they people who it's people that we know, people that had connections that helped? You know what I mean?
This is also a very interesting thing because this guy. Benet, I can't pronounce his name. B-E-N-H. How do you pronounce that? B-E-N-H.
Ben?
Yeah. I mean, no, but I'm saying,
yeah.
I guess his name is Benjamin, born Benjamin. He's a guy from Manhattan. He actually went to college with one of my friends. The thing is, his father's Jewish. Spent most of his childhood in Brazil. So I mean, I guess he's Jewish. It's interesting because this was his first big movie. For him to do it, like he got money, he got his friends involved, made this movie. But the only reason I'm asking is because this movie came out, Beast of the Southern Wild, and it was such a hit. It was such a hit. It was not as harsh because it was about, Hurricane Katrina. It wasn't as harsh as Beast of No Nation. But I'm only asking because if this movie would have been directed either by a white man or written by a white man, would it be more palatable for the Oscar-going audience?
But it's like, but no, right? Because, Beast of the Wild having to do with Katrina, right? That already puts it in a world that Oscar voters understand, and recognize. So I think that if Beast was directed or written by someone who is white, I don't think that changes it. I think that it's about the experience of the person when you are actually watching the movie and what happens to you when you watch it, right? So there are people who have been living for a long time. This is it's almost like I'm shitting on the Oscar voters for being old, but that's not what I'm saying. But people like me who it's like, oh, I don't want to see that. I don't want to look at that, right? It's an American thing to say there's conflict over here. I don't want to look at it.
Because it's real.
Because it's real,
Beasts
right?
And at the end of the day, Beasts of Southern Wild, it had a
fantastical
it was a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't really in Katrina. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It was like the idea, the symbolism was clearly there.
Right.
But it was also, but Beast of No Nation is in a no-name country, but everybody understands, this is a thing that's real and is happening right now. But my thing is, we do that with other films, like Captain Phillips, and they still get nominated.
Right, but that movie, though, is but Captain Phillips
is a hero.
Is an American. It's an American hero. It's great, good for him. But
is that the thing? Is it because he's not this film isn't about America? Is that why?
No, I think it's about. I think it's It's either that it's not about America or that it's it's. I mean the I think it's that you have a separation from it. People have a separation from it. That is a part of walls that we, as a country, have. And this is not to get super political because I didn't research this, but this is my belief. As a country, have built up that we're starting to tear down. Right, we're starting to tear down these walls and look at the world itself as a place that is all kinds of horrible things are happening and trying to be more receptive to that. Mm-hmm. But because we've spent so much time ignoring stuff like that, or it's I feel like people look at this movie and they're like, yeah, of course those actors were good because they're African and they, you know what I mean?
You think people see that'd be interesting if people actually think that, because I think about something like The Revenant, where Leo's nominated and everybody's like, oh my God, award-winning performance, amazing, the best Leo's ever been. For what? Because he was cold? Anybody can act cold when you're actually cold.
But it's
literally anybody can do that.
It's straight out of Compton though, right? I think that people
I think those actors are just like that.
It's
they don't realize that they're acting.
No, right?
Yeah.
And people talk about Denzel Washington and Training Day, but it's he gets nominated for Training Day because that role is so different than what we're used to seeing.
What about Idris though? Everyone knows Idris. Idris clearly isn't
right.
What about Idris?
Yeah,
though?
but then it's not it. But he has been getting accolades for this movie. He did not get an Oscar for it, but people do.
He didn't get a Critics' Choice.
He didn't get a nomination for the Oscar for it.
Right, that's what I mean.
He didn't get an Oscar nom. He didn't get a Critics' Choice nom for it. I mean, my thing about it is, it's just, to me, it's very frustrating. This movie as a whole, it's just frustrating because this movie is well directed. The acting performances are great, but the thing is, we will never. And this is just, I'm gonna just say it. We will never. I've never been to Africa. I don't know any child soldiers. And the thing is, to say that because as an American or whatever, I can't relate to this movie, I feel I don't need to.
Yeah, Slumdog Millionaire won.
No, everyone loves Slumdog. I've never been to it.
That's because I think because there was a win at the end, right? Like a hero's journey.
Well, yes, for sure. But this is all, that's 100%, I think, part of it. But also, I did make a blanket statement that Americans feel a certain way, but I don't
think it's a good statement to make, though.
was very affected and very moved by this movie, and I don't see how anybody watching it couldn't be affected or moved by it. But what I'm saying is, I do think that, you know, like, and this harkens back to like the fact that JB and I didn't watch this movie until now. You know, there's even just like I'll get around to it.
I mean, that's what I thought.
You know, I can't.
But my thing is, though, that the Academy they are supposed to get around to it.
Yeah, that's their job.
So, and they do it for other films. So
Yeah.
why not? Like, you can sit there and be like, I don't like watching these movies. These people, that's what they do. Nobody sat around and said, I don't want to watch American Sniper because of
Right.
this. And that movie was nominated,
but then I
and
think-
the actor was nominated.
And then I think it's.
and that's a movie that doesn't have a good end, like
that's
nice
a basic.
ending.
That's a basic movie, to be honest.
But I think it's that moment of when you've watched, 20 movies or however many it is that are up for consideration, and of those 20, you have all the movies that got nominated: Spotlight, The Room. You have all those movies, The Revenant. And it's like, the journey that I went on when I watched as a 60-something American, white American. Whatever.
White male American.
White male American, right? As that person, the one that I was drawn towards the most were these other ones. That doesn't those 20 are all being considered because they're good movies.
See, to me, that's an issue. Because to me, one, do we even know if Beast of No Nation was considered? Two, it's like, it's not about when you're reviewing stuff. We don't, like for instance, or like how we say, our cause isn't based on whether or not we like the movie. Like to me, it's like hold on, but it's like I feel like it shouldn't be like whether or not I relate to, for instance, Beast of No Nation. It's like, does this movie hit all the good points of being a great film?
Exactly.
And I think it does.
Yeah, and that's true.
But I feel like that's
the thing that I think sucks most about it, right? Because if you have a bunch of people that have it's almost like we need to change who the people are that are voting, right?
Well,
but
yeah,
it's
everybody says that. We know
but
that.
if you have a bunch of people that have similar experiences, yes, they should be looking at this movie and realize like this is just as good, if not better, than some of these other movies.
Especially because that's what they say that they do.
Yeah, that's the whole point of their job.
But I don't. But
like, there's
at the end of the day, how good are we really at being completely unbiased when we're picking things?
no, that's not true.
I just want to say, let's talk a little bit more about the movie, though, just because I want to talk about how good this film is, and let's talk about moments, right? So for me, there were just a lot of interesting points to bring up. Okay, how did you guys feel about? Did you guys feel like the? I mean, we said, none of us really know
What's happening?
What child soldiers are really like. We're basing it off this film. But did it feel truthful to you? Did it feel respectful? Did it feel like this is a good representation of what these people's struggles could be?
To me, it felt very authentic only because it didn't pass judgment on anybody. Like, even Ago, for instance, you never felt like Agu. I felt like it was just no judgment passed on anybody. It was just showing you this is what happens. This is just it. You can think about it how you want to. You can see this is what he's going through. At one point, he says, "God, are you looking at us? Are you seeing the things that we're doing?"
Yeah,
but he continues to keep doing it.
Yeah, well, because he asks that question and then shoots the woman.
Yeah,
because I think his answer is, no, God isn't looking. Yeah. God isn't talking to me.
So I thought that him shooting the woman, because the woman was being raped, and he was just raped. I thought him shooting the woman was actually a little bit of an act of mercy.
To protect her.
It was. I think it was definitely an act of mercy. And the thing is, you think about it, his friend at that point in that particular scene, Stryker, is stomping a young girl for no reason. For no reason.
Yeah.
No reason. And the thing is, to me, it was so powerful because we don't know. For instance, he got to that point because his family was killed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? His dad, his brother was shot by a child soldier in the back. His head was his face. He was shot a couple times. His face was open by a child soldier, and it's like he got to this point because of the people that are supposed to protect him didn't.
I definitely enjoyed that. The lines were so blurred as to who's right, who's wrong there, and the movie does not answer. It almost says if anything, the lesson is like stop killing each other of the entire movie. At times, I thought the look of the movie itself, as far as fairness, is almost too beautiful. Right? Like it looks, it's so,
I did think about that a little bit.
It could be grittier, even. It could be, but it's like whatever. Make the movie that you want to make.
Totally,
but,
I did think about that.
But it's like it looks so.
Is it too beautiful?
It looks so beautiful.
Like
every
there were
shot
so
is
many
just
beautiful
so.
shots.
And the colors are so vibrant, not bright necessarily, but like they pop.
I guess like though, as a counter to that is maybe the reason that it looked so beautiful is because it was like showing you, because the African country is beautiful. You know, I mean, sorry, whatever the African. That's what I'm saying. African country, we don't know.
And the score the score doesn't judge either. Like the music is just sort of very. It's I don't know how you would describe it because I don't know how you describe music, but it's not like heavy all the time. It's like this very sort of like light kind of like this is
what
we're
happens.
just looking at this. We're just looking at this thing that's happening.
Yeah, to me, what this movie did, which was great, was that it took a very harsh reality and just showed you this is the reality.
Yeah,
like I'm not going to tell you this is really messed up. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you it could be rough. It's like this is what happens to people. Look at it.
And I think you know that it is messed up, and everybody who's living in it knows. Like, and it's just like we live in this like harsh world. You know what I mean? And then this is what we do to survive. It's very reminiscent of those. Like I keep up bringing up Apocalypse Now because that felt the closest to it. Apocalypse Now, it also was a film where it didn't like they had like a mission, but like the film just felt like you're just going on this. You don't know what the end point is. You know what I mean? It's just like you just keep going, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight because it seems like this is now life, and you just witness horrible things after horrible thing. And you're just like, this is what people have to live with, right? And I think for Americans, the reason that's so powerful is like, man, our rich country, our privileged selves had to endure that.
Yeah.
Some of us had to endure that. That sucks.
Yeah.
But I think the reason that maybe Beast of No Nation isn't as powerful for other people, for white people in particular, but also just us as Americans, is that we don't have to we can look at that and be like, but that's Africa. Yeah. Even though it's not, right? Like, even though this is only, these are certain countries and certain parts of countries. You know what I mean? Like, there are countries that don't deal with this at all. Like, definitely not on this wide of a scale. But there are countries, like Democratic Republic of Congo, like a lot of those Central African countries that are dealing with this. There are constant war and terror. Like so many innocent people are being killed, are being displaced, don't have food, don't have water. All this stuff is happening. They're joining armies. You have all these child armies that are happening. And we look at that and we just hear it. We hear the news and we're like, yeah, well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for us not to watch this film.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to think about those things that are happening. But to me, that's the point of film, is to like make us, remind us like these things are happening. Yeah. Like Hotel Rwanda, the whole thing was like, this was happening and America didn't do anything about it. Can you believe how long it took us to take action? Yeah. And like that stuff's happening now, and we're still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about this movie, there's three breaks to go to your the moments question. There's like three distinct moments in this movie that just affected me greatly. The moment I think I touched on a little bit, when Agu is he sees Idris, he sees Idris for the first time, and Idris is like say yes sir, and he says it so much that the camera at one point is a little bit far away. It's like a little bit bigger than a medium shot, and it gets closer to his face, and as he gets more intense and starts saying yes sir faster, to me, it's like you see the switch of him like accepting this lifestyle he's about to live. It's like you see it. It's like at first he's terrified. It's fear. It's like he's screaming.
Just doing it so he doesn't want to get shot.
And all of a sudden, as Idris starts circling him and tells him to say it more, you just see like, to me, his body changes.
Yeah.
His body gets strong. And it's just like, I'm now, even though he's not a soldier yet, because he still has fear at this point, but it's like, you know what? This will be my home. This is the father figure that clearly I don't have, because they never say how long he's been in the woods alone, but it's like clearly he's been around, hasn't eaten, and he's there, right? Then
and his father's dead.
And his father is clearly dead, And then you see the fact of like this, the mercy killing of the woman after she's being raped. And the thing is, even when that guy says, because he thinks it's his mother, he has like, I don't even know what you would call that. He has this thing where like he sees this adult woman. He just sees his mother on this woman, and the guy, which is fucking terrible. Sorry, I'm not cursing. Freaking terrible. I'm trying my best.
You are
I'm trying
openly cursing.
Well, I'm not. I mean, not. Well, I'm trying my best because it's such a reflex. But like the guy in the background is screaming, "This your mother? How do you know her? I want to rape her." I'm like, what?
Yeah,
what
he just
kind of,
casually says,
casual.
I want to rape her.
Casual,
Yeah.
which is disgusting. And the thing is, once he realizes it's not his mom, he becomes upset at the woman.
Yeah.
Calls her a witch.
Yeah.
And then you see him get mad. You see what's happening to the woman. Then he switches back like, no, this is not right. Mercy kills her, right? This movie is, the lines are so blurred about what is right and what is wrong. It's so fascinating to me.
Yeah,
It's like,
for me, there were a lot of moments like that. One of them is when he first kills. And let me just say, the feeling for me was like, I want him to go through with this.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? It was like, but I went back and forth. I was like, well, don't do it. You're innocent. You know, like.
But what would have happened to him if he didn't?
But then
do
what
it?
would happen if you don't? You got to
What
kill.
would happen
You know,
to him
like
if he
that was
doesn't?
what was happening. It was like I think he has to kill him. Oh my God, please kill him. Please do it. You can do it. Oh God, no, don't do it. You know, like
And
it was
they
like
don't stop.
That moment was so complicated, and so it was such a complex moment, and I thought it was very well done. And then he's just going to town on him, right? And then just the way that they deal with death. Anytime Agu sees someone that he knows dies, it's like they're very small moments, you know? His dad is killed as he's running away, is one. Then his brother's killed, and he is looking at him, but it's not like...
His brother has no face.
Yeah, his brother has no... He's looking at his brother who has no face, and it's not like... It's just a thing. It's a thing that has happened, and he doesn't have time to even deal with it before he's being shot at again. I think it's beautiful. And then later, when Stryka dies, you know, and it's like... That one's hard, right? Like, I think he collapses a little bit into him, right? Mm-hmm. But even still, it's like
He can't weep over Stryker.
You don't have time to do that.
Over.
And those moments really stood out to me. And then the I've already said it, but when he says the beast line, it's like that for me. I was like,
yeah.
he should be nominated for all of the awards because the way that this little boy is like a vessel for all of those emotions, it's amazing. And it's a shame, honestly. I mean, I think he has like 5 or 6 nominations in different categories.
But like, let's be real, yo.
I mean, they aren't.
Some of the
Golden
child
Globes,
actors got nominated, and the fact that he wasn't, it's just like,
it's
what?
I mean, it's just like, and he didn't win a
Like,
Critics' Choice for Best Young Actor.
Yeah.
Look, dude, like Matt Damon, like, yeah, man, I like you. You're a really good actor, but like, did you need to be nominated for The Martian? No. This kid is amazing.
Yeah.
The
This kid is amazing.
He couldn't even win the Best Young Actor award.
The Willett Quaz.
You talking about from Beast of
Yeah.
Beast of is
Man, she has the hardest pronounced name ever. I keep wanting to call her Q.
So yeah, Q
She's
from
great. Yeah, but she's great too. I love her. She's great. But I think this Abraham was, man, real. I'm not saying Q definitely should have been nominated.
No, yeah. I mean,
But
it's like it's not even
Questionette.
not even to compare him to other child actors. It's just he was in a movie this
talking
year.
about actors,
he was in a movie this year and he killed. And I don't know how many other movies he has done, but it's like
this is his first movie. He has one more lined up.
For me, the scene where they were like, he was like, we got to take that bridge or whatever, or we got not the bridge, but the
it was a bridge.
it was another bridge. It was another bridge.
We
He's like,
have
we got to take that bridge, and he was like patting them all in the chest and like listening to their heart.
Yeah.
Idris Elba
Idris was so
to
good.
see
Yes.
like if their heart was ready or whatever, and and then telling them they were protected, and he was patting himself and then patting the kids on the chest. Like there was something about, I was like, oh my goodness, like he was riling them up, like it just was so, and it just wasn't playing like
He wasn't evil at all.
He wasn't like this just like evil, scary, evil guy.
No.
It was like real complicated. I mean, there is that scene, you know, obviously where he's like talking to Agu. He's like, Agu, you're special to me, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then like right after, you're like, oh my God, I think he's raping him.
Yeah.
And he did that to another child.
And Stryker knows.
Stryker.
He's out there. And
Stryker,
he's
done it to
knows
Stryker.
what happened.
he knows exactly what happened.
Because I think he did it to Stryker as well.
Yeah.
Tessa actually pointed out to me that there was that scene where they call the child and he kind of just, and then you see the child like go into that hut.
Oh yeah.
That's what was happening.
That must have
Also,
been.
now you bring it up when he's saying take the bridge. For some reason, I feel like Stryker knew the whole time what was going to happen. Because remember when he's like Stryker and Agu, and he gives Agu the binoculars, and like Stryker is looking at this exchange the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah.
The entire time. I mean, he notices like he takes it back, doesn't give it to Stryker, and he like literally like Idris either pats or puts his hand on like Agu's shoulder and then pushes him back a little bit to be next to Stryker, and Stryker's just looking at him like never says a word, but just a concerned look for his friend. I mean,
yeah, and then also that scene right before they all leave the commandant, like when they're in that trench, that mud, the colors of that, the colors pop so well, and just walking around and just seeing like the despondency in people's eyes, they're like carrying a body. Anyway, just you start to live in this world. You're like, oh man, like this is it, and it moves past sadness, and it kind of just goes to like this complacency of like
this is life.
I think that they do it so well because because of how much humor they're able to, not humor, but light
moments.
There's
human elements.
Where it's
I know, but I'm saying it's like those human moments shows that like they're still kids.
Yeah.
Like they still want to play football, if you will. They still want to like have fun and find happiness in some type of moments. Some of those moments are kind of messed up.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to. This movie just makes me sad on so many levels, man.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Can I say something right now?
what is it?
I'm not doing a swirl today.
Oh shit!
For real?
What?
I'm not doing one. Can I tell you why? It's a combination.
I mean,
of things.
we freaking know why, Jerah. You shouldn't do the swirl.
Yeah,
No, it's
you
not
should
'cause
never
of that.
do the swirl.
No,
really,
the swirl is important. The thing about it is, the swirl. The reason I can't do a swirl is twofold. We just had. This is the week for people to know that we just watched what happened with the Oscars nominations, right?
Yes.
We just saw that they nominated no people of color, right?
yeah.
We're reviewing this movie, which again we all admitted was a movie we would have passed on, like, oh, we'll watch it, and just never would. We watched it, realized this is a great movie.
Yeah.
Right? A great movie.
We knew it was going to be, but we just didn't.
Oh yeah,
because
that was never the question.
We have it's. I'm glad we're pointing it out because it's like this American mentality that we too have of like we don't want to know about
we don't want to know
the struggles of freaking Africa.
I mean, yeah.
I could put a swirl in
We
this
don't
movie,
wanna
but
know.
The thing is, there's just to me, I just don't have it in me. Like Hollywood has somehow taken. I just don't.
Hollywood has taken the swirl from you.
I just don't have.
See what you're doing, Hollywood?
I don't have it. I just don't. I don't like. I mean, I guess there's places you could do it when Idris goes to like the prostitute place.
Nah,
but it's like it's just.
I think the best thing is just be like for, just like wait. No, I can't do it.
What are you about to
Just
do?
gonna do like a pretty like white girl like comes up to Abraham
At the end of the movie,
at the end of the movie when he like oh my god, we didn't talk about the end scene. The end scene is great. The end scene is just like him. He's like always sad and he's like sitting around while all the kids are playing soccer and all this stuff, and he's not doing it. But then at the end scene, the last moment of the film is somewhat happy, in which he's watching all these kids run into the ocean and play with this ball and be kids.
Yeah.
Again, the one thing, the narration part that I like is like he's getting counseled by this woman who's asking him,
yes.
Tell me about your experiences, and the narration's basically saying like this woman thinks she's talking. Essentially, this woman thinks she's talking to a child, but she's never seen war.
Yes,
I've lived it. I'm older.
Man. He's an old man.
I'm an old man, and she's a little girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness.
And he's like, and he's supposed to be at 10 or something in this movie,
right, or whatever. So he's like, but then there's that point where he runs into the ocean, and it's both a baptismal thing, like my Tessa pointed out, like a washing over, a cleansing, but it's also it's also him becoming a kid again, or at least taking part in something that is something that was stolen from him.
Can he ever be a kid?
No,
that's the question. Well, I think,
I
yes.
can never be a kid.
I mean, he can't and he can. I think But to me, that was like there was like hope because he gets to be a kid in that moment at least.
Like
if he lives in the present. You know?
Like he can be happy again, but
Yeah, but anyway, so I derailed. But
No,
maybe there was a little white girl there who's like.
But now it's like
just,
a
like,
baby
kisses him.
swirl. So she just like
Oh, yeah,
the
just,
baby
like,
swirl's like a
because he
just
never
kiss on
gets
his
any
cheek,
love.
like a
He
little-
never gets any love from a girl. Like even when he tries to smile at
well,
the
there was
one
like
girl,
yeah, but that was complicated too. That whole thing. I thought for a second I was like, oh my god, please don't let him rape this girl.
yeah, I did too. I was like, please.
Yeah.
I was like, this is too much. This is
Yeah, I
too
got
much.
nothing, man.
And also in
Please,
this one, I don't even want to really see a swirl like that.
Yeah,
like,
there's
if
so many
anything,
black-
it'd be
black
great
people. I loved
it'd
it.
be
Yeah.
great. It'd be great if there's just a little black girl at the end who like was just there and they like danced together. And
I was just scared for women in this movie. I was scared every time I saw one.
yeah.
Like legitimately, because
I mean, yeah.
I was scared every time I saw one on
Yeah.
screen of what was going to happen. So
Yeah.
I've got nothing, guys.
So no swirl.
No swirl.
Sorry.
That's
right.
unfortunate.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We supposed to, I don't even know we're supposed to talk like this. This movie was great, and then what
So
can
real
what
quick,
can you
though,
do?
Real quick.
Please no.
I mean, I was just thinking, like, After Earth, right? So, like,
James, we're trying to have
So, like,
we're trying to have an important conversation.
is it good? I just want to know real quick.
How
Are
do
you comparing it to this movie?
Do you feel
Is After Earth good?
like how
In comparison
horrible
to
in your
what?
heart do you feel right now? Do you
Are you proud of yourself for bringing it?
Are you gonna throw up like Agu threw up a couple
No,
times?
I'm
in the
not.
film?
I'm not gonna throw up because I want to. I'm asking the tough questions. Okay, I'm asking.
This is the tough
This
question.
is the tough question.
Is After Earth a good film?
Is it good?
Let me tell you something right now.
What?
No.
Okay, all right.
You could have at least used the two sons
Are you-
in the
I-
woods trying to
I
film
will.
for them.
Oh my goodness! If you even dare, Will Smith, I love you.
I was just
Jaden,
about
you're
to
cool.
ask.
But if you even dare try to compare Abraham's performance to Jaden's, don't.
I wasn't gonna do that, but I was gonna ask though.
I'm sorry, Jaden. It's just After Earth. No.
Oh, Jaden knows.
You
Jaden,
know,
Jaden, you
no,
know.
Jaden has like. There's a point where he's like quivering. You know, he's
Jaden,
like about to
you
cry.
know.
He's like about to cry.
John,
No.
can you set up the calls, please?
Oh my goodness! Look, guys,
Why'd you do that? Why?
I just wanted to know.
We're about to rate this film.
I just wanted to know.
For those of you who haven't listened to the podcast before, The Cause is more leading actors of color in major motion pictures. Okay, so is this film technically independent because Netflix did?
Well, I mean, Netflix is a studio. Now. Netflix
I
is
just
a
realized
studio.
that.
But no, but Netflix is considered a studio now. So,
Yeah, no, I thought.
This movie made zero money.
but it wasn't. It wasn't supposed.
It wasn't
to.
really in theaters. All right, but so we don't rate films based on how well they were, but how they help the cause of more leading actors of color in major motion pictures. We either give it a fist, meaning it fully helped the cause, a white palm, a black fist, a white palm, meaning it was like so, or nothing, meaning it didn't help. All right. Oh boy.
I already
Alright.
got mine.
I mean,
All right.
I do and I don't.
What?
Okay.
I don't. All right.
I do
Oh,
and
I know.
don't.
I know why you're struggling.
All right, here we go.
It's okay. We can talk about
Let's
it.
go. Ready?
No.
Count 3.
I'm not closing my eyes.
1, 2, 3. For real, Jerah?
You know what?
Now I feel bad about what I did.
Did you want to give it? What did you want to give it?
Nope. It's okay.
It got nothing from me, a fist from James, and a palm from John.
How are you going to give it nothing?
This is no.
How you
Let
gonna
me
give
tell
it
you why.
nothing?
Nope.
It's
I
not
get
because
it.
I think this movie was great. I love this movie, but and this, I don't know how to say this, but to me, this movie showed that Hollywood does not. Fuck it. I'm a curse too. This movie shows. This movie shows that Hollywood doesn't care about black people.
You've
Yo,
been cursing.
straight up. No, it does because the thing is, this movie was great. This movie was shot great. This movie was like the cinematography was great. The performance was great. What else can people do? Seriously, what else? What else? Like, the thing is, it's so frustrating to me because, like, I just don't know what else you can do. Like, we talk to kids, right? One person tell like a young little black kid who's trying to be an actor, or a little Spanish kid, or a little, or you know, what I'm saying, what the
Yes.
fuck can a person do to prove that this movie is worthy of your attention and time?
Yes.
It's like
That's a good question.
it's like this movie did everything right.
Mm-hmm.
It did legitimately everything right, and we got nothing for it.
Yeah.
Nothing. We're sitting here right now on a podcast about how Hollywood doesn't support people of color. And we did it as a bit, as a joke, right? And now we're reviewing a movie. Now we're in it. Straight up. Now we've become a part of the situation. Now we're in it. Now we're talking about it. And now we're reviewing a movie that is doing the exact thing that made us start this podcast in the first place. This sucks.
Say that, Jerah.
This shit ain't funny to me no more.
Say that.
This is a fucking kid, man, who did a great job. Idris Elba, who's a person that white people fucking love. He's British.
White people love
He's British.
Idris Elba.
He's not even he's not an American Negro. Like, this is what I'm saying. Black, like, this is my thing. And we can say it. We can say it. If you're gonna be a black actor, right? At least graduate from Juilliard or be British.
Those are the two. Honestly, those are the two things you can do, or go back in time and have been on The Wire.
You can't just be
be a famous
a rapper or something. Like, you can't just be an American Negro who wants to act or who studies to act. You have to have some caveat to it. Like, what else could they have done?
Yeah.
Cary Fukunaga, right, directed one of the best TV shows. Award-winning TV shows. A show that when he left to do this movie, people stopped watching because they said it sucked when he left.
Right.
So you have this dude won awards for that show. He did this passion project, a great one. He had a cinematographer that was great. He went into this area that he showed us something, and we still can't win, man. What? I can't get us a fist. For what?
Yeah.
What did he do? You know what he did? He showed that literally everything we try to do means nothing unless you have tons of people, or at least a white dude who gives a shit and says, you know what? This one film right here made by these people of color, I'm going to like this one. So you know what? You're the one for this 5 years. When last time we had a black film? Man,
pass that rock. Can you pass the rock, though?
Sorry.
Can you pass the rock, though?
I'm going to toss the break.
Pass that rock.
Got it, Bray.
Oh, here we go, son. Idris Elba. Why y'all not nominating him, huh?
Uh-oh.
Why are y'all not nominating him?
Uh-oh.
My man is one of the best actors in Hollywood right now, hands down.
Get him.
My man is in films with other white actors and out-acting them like it ain't nothing,
Get
okay? And this dude is relegated to supporting roles, film after film after film, giving one of the best performances in all these movies. Prometheus, awesome.
Get him.
Say that.
Get him.
What's the robot movie? Guillermo del Toro.
The one with the robot.
Pacific Rim.
Get him. Amazing. My man, and then what happens? My man does Mandela. Y'all don't talk to him at all. Y'all don't you don't even sniff in his direction. He's the lead in that. He does Beast of No Nation. He's the supporting lead. He's the main. He's the only person, actor of note in that film. And y'all don't sniff at him at that?
He's a black British dude.
What are y'all doing?
Say it.
Dudes.
Say it.
How can I say that this film supports the cause when Idris Elba, again, does not get recognized?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Hold up.
Who are you guys still? It's just Will Smith and Denzel.
It's just Will and Denzel, though?
Come on now.
But do they even like Will anymore? Does Will get love?
Uh-oh.
I mean,
Will was not. But Will was talked about more than anybody else.
Can I give you one thing? Denzel won. I don't know if you watched the Golden Globes. Denzel won a Lifetime Achievement Award. Who got the bigger standing ovation? Denzel Washington or Sylvester Stallone? Was there a pause break for Denzel when he won? When they showed his montage of movies of hits, did he get a goddamn standing ovation? Where the fucking camera show him people clapping for him?
So here's the thing. I gave it a palm because at the very least, this film has an all-black cast that was nominated for a SAG. Thank you. I'm proud to be a part of the SAG union for that. They did nominate Idris as well.
Do more.
We can do more SAG, but I'm glad at least that happened. SAG nominated both the cast of Beast of No Nation and Straight Outta Compton, okay?
Yo.
And they only have 5 nominations. Freaking the Academy's got 8, and they couldn't nominate Straight Outta Compton or Beast. Anyway, but I did give it a palm for that. And because this film is freaking amazing. And I hope that this kid, Abraham, gets to be in more films.
Can I get that ball, though?
Pass the rock. Pass the rock.
Can I get that?
Pass the rock.
Yo, I gave this movie a fucking fish. Because this movie is the shit right now.
Okay.
It's an all-black cast except for like 6 background actors real quick.
But they still minorities. But most of them still minorities.
Almost all the background actors.
Most all of them still minorities. The Asian and black
we
connection was in there.
We talking about straight African actors, though. We talking about Abraham Atta, though. We talking about that British dude, Idris Elba, though. These people are acting their asses off in a beautiful film about just some straight complex political war, blood, guts. You are deeply affected by this. This movie that got not only a release in theaters, but it was released on Netflix so that everybody could see it. So that everybody could see them beautiful black faces acting their asses off, telling that dark, deep story for you to feel, for you to learn, for you to know something new. I gave this movie a fist because this is what we need to be making more of. We need more Beasts of No Nation. We need more Abraham Attas. We need Idris Elba to be getting fucking awards and be getting leading roles in Hollywood films. Because people have been saying it for years and it hasn't happened yet.
Whose voice were you just doing?
I know. What voice?
That was me.
That was really
Wasn't that me?
That was an Angry James?
It felt like a mix of Martin Lawrence.
I feel like he wouldn't do the right thing.
I thought it was okay. All right. I thought it was.
I
me.
mean, look, man, I'm gonna say this for real. Hey, Hollywood.
I'm just saying, y'all was mad about it, and I was like,
no, I liked it. No, I like the speech. I like the speech.
Yeah,
It's just
man,
the voice threw
my
me
thing
off.
is, I'm not trying to sound sad or like distraught, but I'm like, look, Hollywood, y'all better fix it. I promise you this. Y'all niggas let me get closer to the door. I'm kicking that shit open and bringing everybody fucking with me. This shit's about to get, y'all about to go from nobody.
It's about to
and
be.
I'm bringing the whole color coalition too.
Hollywood, it's about to be House Party 6.
Just like
how many of them is it?
Shut up, James.
Just like real quick though, like
ruined
you,
this.
Jerah was so right because like this movie like did that dramatic stuff that people like, and like The Revenant got the most nominations, right? 12 nominations. It's like up for Best Picture, might win. Leo's definitely going to win. All this stuff. Why? Because they said this film was hard to make, and and the idea of the film is like the survival of human, survival, right? The struggle of humanity, our survival instinct and spirit. What more than this film?
It just got sick.
How?
Real talk.
It just
First
got
of all,
sick making it.
Real
everybody
talk.
they got a bunch of
Everybody
the
got
cast.
sick.
Abraham
have
did. They all got malaria.
Zero interest in seeing The Revenant.
It's just, I'm just saying, like, I'm just making a point. Like, everything that people are praising The Revenant for, Beasts of No Nation did, and more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And more.
And for less money, probably, right?
Oh,
For
yes.
a lot less money.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? And they
6
still had
mil?
to deal with all the bull crap that The Revenant had to deal. It's like, literally, The Revenant's biggest problem was that the winter was actually too warm.
No,
Yeah,
hold up. But
that was
Leo,
a-
They
had to
keep talking
reshoot.
about how cold they were. They were in the warmest winter. They had to keep reshooting because snow was disappearing.
Yeah.
but Leo's lips were chapped.
Anyway,
Leonardo
so
DiCaprio had chapped
That's because
lips.
he kept using chapstick, and chapstick got glass in it, so it make your lips even chapper.
So he
Carrie-
like made
Beeswax or something. You gotta
So
use
Carrie,
beeswax.
this was a great film. This is no disrespect to this. The rating has nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do with you. It's how
has
you
everything to
treat
do with
it.
Hollywood. So it got a fist, a palm, and nothing. That's our rating.
Hollywood be better.
Hollywood, you got to be better. Beast of No Nation. Go watch that film. I know it's hard to watch, but you
Please
just
just
do
watch
it.
it.
Come on. If
We
you
had to.
watched any of those other films, war movies, if you watch Schindler's List, Apocalypse Now, Saving Private Ryan, if you watch, The Pianist, The Full Metal Jacket, any of those films, you got to watch this one.
You gotta watch
Just
it. If
watch
you watched,
it.
what? all
If
those
you
other
seen
ones?
City of
If you
God,
saw American Sniper,
just watch it.
Yeah.
If you seen
oh my
American
God, if you've seen
Sniper,
American
saw
Sniper,
American
if you saw
Sniper,
Zero
you
Dark
gotta-
30, like, watch this
watch
film.
this, man.
All right. Thank you. And
I'm down, man.
we're doing
It's
some
tough.
plugs, but we'll see you next week. Bye.
cheer.
All right, we're doing some
Plugs.
Plugs. PLUGS.
I mean, plugs. That spells plugs.
Oh man, what a sad episode.
Yeah, we're still in it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so we're doing some plugs. Follow us on Twitter at Black Men Podcast. If you saw the movie and there's stuff that we didn't talk about, tweet at us.
Please
You
do.
can also look at our Instagram or join the conversation and on Facebook. And we have a website, blackmenpodcast.squarespace.com. For me, John Braylock, at John Braylock, JONBRAYLOCK, on Twitter, on Instagram, johnbraylock.com for shows, for some videos. And then shows, literally tonight, if you're listening to this during the day.
Yeah, if you listen to it on Friday.
We got a UCB show, Astronomy Club, Journey Through Black History at 7:30 p.m. Tickets at $10.
UCB Chelsea,
UCB
New York
Chelsea,
City,
New York City.
26th and 8th.
But if you want, you can come to our NYU show. That's February 8th, 6:30 p.m. It's a Monday. RSVP for free.
Yep.
Just go to our website.
Yep. This Black Man Can't Jump. We're going to be reviewing 12 Years a Slave.
That's right. So that will be our live show at NYU. So for all you NYU students, come out.
Yeah, hang out.
Actually, if you're not an NYU student,
yeah,
you
just
can
come hang out. We'll be there. We'll be
We'll be
chatting
there.
with people.
It's
and
live.
We'll talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Just don't try to stab me about swirl related stuff.
All
Please
right.
don't do that.
Jerah, you got some other stuff?
Oh
to
yeah,
plug?
If
we
you
got
want to talk about more
we got
journey
more.
through Black history, we got more shows in February 11th, Thursday, February 11th at 8 p.m. at UCB Chelsea, and Friday, February 26th at 7:30 p.m. That's here in New York City. Come out, make a thing of it. That's Black History Month. So you need to show support.
You know you need to show support.
You need to. I'm not plugging nothing about Facebooks and stuff because I can't change my Twitter, so I'm frustrated, y'all. I'm sorry.
All right, real quick. James Third Comedy. Third is 3RD. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all you know they got that .com. So check me out. Why
Why are you so proud? Though? Like, something about when you said that maybe
I don't
not,
know. There's like something
Like,
about
what is
it.
that?
Yeah.
What?
Like
All
it's
right.
something I just
James
don't like.
Thirdcomedy.com.
Okay.
right,
Some
why
I
you
don't
Third
like.
Comedy.
Stop arching
on
your
Twitter
shoulder.
and
What are you
Instagram
doing?
And Facebook.
Are you posing as
All
you
right.
talk?
And
I
that's
am.
all 3RD?
That's all 3RD.
Just
No, it's not. One of them is TH.
No, it ain't.
IRD.
What are you
dude.
talking? Don't say that. Now people are going to think
No, I thought one was.
none of them are.
My
No.
fault.
Oh, okay.
It's all the same.
Are you
And
sure?
then so next week, wait, what are we doing next week?
this week, this guys.
I know.
I begged him to do this movie, and I'm so excited.
And you know
that's
what?
why.
I'm so excited.
I am
begged
glad
him.
that Gerard did this because I am a huge fan of this movie.
I'm a dude.
All right, calm down.
He's a
Oh
dude.
no.
She's a dude. Because
We're all dudes.
Hey, I'm a dude.
She's a dude. Oh, hey,
He's a dude. Because we're all dudes.
You know that most people still have no idea what you're doing, right?
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take it hard? Did that help now?
All right, yeah, we're doing the film Good Burger starring Kel Mitchell and Keenan Thompson.
That's-
Sinbad is also in the movie.
Yeah, and Sinbad is also in the movie. Yes, guys, we're doing Good Burger.
man.
We're doing it because literally this is the most depressing film we've ever watched, and now we're gonna watch the silliest film ever made.
Whoa, dude.
All right, great. So we'll see you next week. Okay, we're taking a break from the Oscar. Blah blah. All right.
See you later.
All right.
No.
What?
That was a headgum podcast.